Hi, thank you.
Hold on. Is there something for me?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay. You can come in now.
Thank you.
Welcome to Casa Bloom. We are very glad that Donas and Tortas has made their appearance here today. So welcome. So this is Casa Bloom Studios. It's a creative space here in downtown Santa Ana, and it was inspired by everyone at Amigas Social Club, which we cater to women, but this is actually open to all of our community. So it's a workspace throughout the week. You know, relax, feel a little bit at home without being at home. So this is our little kitchenette area. We have a little bit of everything in here, but basic needs, coffee. If anybody wants some coffee while they're working, we have a microwave, toaster, and we have a commercial refrigerator too for all the drinks, whether you're hosting something or just having a class or anything, or even an event. So we're open to anything and anything that you want to create. It's kind of like a blank canvas for you to come and create whatever you need for your business or for your community.
What have been some of your most exciting events here?
Oh, well, I might be biased, but the Amigas events are usually really fun. We usually host workshops or special events in here, but we have some really cool upcoming things happening too. So we have open house for Art Walk, and then we're going to be hosting a free co-working day every second Thursday of the month.
So what was the inspiration behind the feeling? Because when you come in here, it's very calming, it's very welcoming.
Well, we wanted something that would, like I said, be a blank canvas for people to come in and create. Because if it was up to me, I probably would throw it pink in here. But I figured now we have to keep it modern, simple, clean, and it gives for any kind of event. We have people that do podcasts or that have photo shoots, so it was important to kind of have the space be as, you know,
Neutral.
which I guess that's where the black and white comes in.
So how did you know when to take the leap for this? This is a big endeavor.
Oh my gosh. I had the idea, I think it was COVID. Sitting with myself at home with 3 kids and realistic, because I'm a realtor, so having to work from home more than usual really made me want to get out of the house. So that's what actually made me come up with that. I was like, I love working from home. I love having a flexible schedule, but being at home, I mean, I really had to get out. I had to get out and kind of, you know, have some time for myself and to actually get work done and not have to be staring at the laundry and, you know, the kids and the dishes and all that good stuff. So that's kind of what pushed it.
And Casa Bloom, that's pretty specific. It's like, that means home, right? You're blooming, you're growing.
So it's a mix of you know, the real estate, the casa, and also blooming, because bloom has been a reoccurring theme in Amigas since it began. Mm-hmm. And I feel that it kind of was, you know, inspired with Amigas, inspired also by the working from home and kind of seeing what we all needed. I think we all got tired of doing everything virtually. We kind of all pivoted to that, but it was time to kind of do in-person things. So.
What does blooming mean to you?
Well, it means, you know, all the years. It's kind of when you see something, when you plant those seeds. That's why it's kind of like a thing. We say plant those seeds today, because years ago there was things that these were just dreams. And I thought, like, I was a stay-at-home mom at the time, and I was like, oh my God, that's gonna take forever, or like, I wonder when it can happen. But it's all those little seeds that were planted many years ago. Now I see those projects or those ideas or those dreams now in reality. So that's what blooming means to me. Just when things finally come to fruition. So
I love that.
So I say bloom on your time. I know we're all blooming on our own time, and enjoy the journey. It's fun.
Oh my goodness, I'm here with the amazing, I just like to call you Loni. I'm just like, yes. You're just Loni, like Madonna, you're just Loni.
Yes.
That
is me.
That is you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you all are going to find out who Loni is today. I'm so excited for you all to meet her. So welcome back to another episode of When Food and Life Meet. Casa Bloom Studios, who was founded by Loni. Yes. Welcome to those who don't know, and thank you for having us in your home.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. I'm very excited.
You're going to find out why I thought about her. You're so funny that you say that. I have so many questions, I don't really know where to start. So
start from the beginning.
We can start from the beginning. Okay, so So, just a quick thing. Loni is a successful business owner here in Orange County. You have a lot of hats, so I'll let you tell people what you've got going on.
Oh gosh.
Who's Loni?
Sometimes I wonder myself.
Let's see.
So I am a mom of 3, soon to be 4.
Okay.
I am married.
Okay.
I am a realtor, primarily. I founded Amigas Social Club, and I am the owner of Casa Bloom Studios.
And
Oh yeah, I said I'm soon to be 4.
soon to be 4. Yeah.
And about to have my 4th baby.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
And,
That's who I am.
And to top that off, I think you're also such a kind soul.
Oh, thank you.
Like seriously, like I was telling her, like I feel like you're a big sister. Like I think you look out for people, you nurture people.
Yeah. I do, because I actually am the big sister. I am the big sister. You know, I do have 3 kids. Again, almost 4. So I do think I do take on the mom role naturally. I guess.
And do you like it? Do you feel like you feel comfortable in that area?
Right now, you said, do I like it? The only thing the thing that came to mind was that movie, the Encanto movie.
Oh,
and I'm like,
the pressure.
I thought, no, I love being a big sister.
Yeah.
I do love it. But yeah, there's definitely been a lot of layers to kind of.
Yeah, I think you're not alone in that. I think that's why that movie that song really resonated.
It was the first thing that came to mind.
And that is, let's talk about that, because that is kind of like the beginning, I guess you could say. Like, I'll let you, I'm just curious what that experience was for you, but I feel like in some ways that's made you so resilient too. But how was that?
Figure it out. No, I love being a big sister. I mean, I love my siblings. I love, the relationship we have and everything, but it did take a while, especially now that I have kids, to kind of go over the things that, okay, maybe I don't need to be responsible for everyone and everything all the time. Mm-hmm. So it has been I guess an eye-opening experience. Mm-hmm. That Encanto movie really did. I was like, oh my God.
Like, that's me.
That's me, totally. Like, I need to, step back. And I don't. I'm not responsible. They're adults now. They're all adults. Like, I don't need to baby them.
So that's so fascinating to me. It's like, I think that's really brave of you, and I think that's part of why these conversations are really important to me, is to be open about the things we're afraid to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really awesome that you recognize, you're like, wait, I can step back. Like, I don't have to do this, because you're a mom and you're so many other things. Like, you're the the example of a multifaceted person. So I'm just curious for you, like, what's helped you on that journey to kind of, you're doing things for you, and I think as a mom, like, that can be challenging. But
it took me having 3 kids.
Okay.
So I'm a big sister. I'm a Virgo on top of it.
Oh, Virgo's so the best.
Yeah, we're like perfectionists. I want to do everything alone. I complain that nobody helps me, but I don't like how people do things. So anyway, so it's a lot of baggage.
Okay.
But it took, I think, until my 3rd one, where I was like, okay, I need help, and it's okay to ask for help, and I'm going to ask for help, and I'm going to embrace the help. So from that point on, I was like, oh my God, like, I've been torturing myself this whole time. Do we torture ourselves?
Well, yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Like, I think we all have to, well, this is my own belief. Like, I feel like we're all going to do what we're going to do. We're going to all learn the lessons that we're going to learn. But I do think, we're all going to have breaking moments where it's going to be like, okay,
and let's try not to get there. I think that it's a cultural thing too, though.
Yes.
Latinas, and I'm the oldest, women, and being the oldest, and you just carry so much inherited responsibility. Yeah. So it's kind of our job to kind of go back the layers.
I know. That kind of segues into Amigas Social Club.
Yeah.
So how did that kind of come to life?
Okay, so right out of high school, my background is in mortgage lending. So I'm not a brand new realtor. Okay. I'm not just all of a sudden want to sell you. No. There's a reason why. I did mortgage lending for about 10 years. Oh, wow. Right out of high school. Okay. So I saw that high market, the crash,
oh my gosh.
The recovery. I saw that even now, the roller coaster. Mm-hmm. So I did that for about 10 years. But into baby number 2, the market wasn't the same anymore. And there's no way I was going to be able to work the hours I was used to working.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's like you have children and nobody tells you daycare's so, I mean, you figure daycare's pricey, but oh my gosh.
No, it's insane.
I was like, oh, I'm going to work to come home with $5 at the end. Like, it just didn't make sense. So as a family, we decided it was best for me to stay home and at least until they were of school age. So in that time, when you have kids, then you all of a sudden have to, you know, the parties and the this and like the get-togethers and the play dates and all that. So little by little, like I started meeting a lot of women in small businesses, you know, like the girl that does the cake or the rentals or this or that. Yeah, like I was like like in our group of friends, I was like the go-to, like, hey, who was that girl you hired for this? Or who was that girl you hired for that?
Okay.
So I had left, you know, my work world, I guess, but then regardless, I was still meeting people. I was still supporting people. And it always, not at the time, I wasn't thinking like, oh, they have to be women. But it just so happened that a lot of the people that I was connecting with were women. So throughout that time, I just made a lot of connections. And I always kept in touch with people that were still in that real estate world and all that. So fast forward to when I had my son, Lucas, who's the third one. I was like, okay, I love being at home. I love being with the kids. I love having like control over everything with them. And I want to but I was like, I'm done being at home. I'm done. Like, I was like, okay.
But okay, can we take, those are those little moments where I'm like, what do you think helped you recognize that? Because there are people who just go, you know, who are just blinded by those kind of intuition, those gut feeling that you probably had. Like, what do you think helped you be like, no, like?
I think it was a time frame that they were apart because my two oldest ones were already in school. Like, they were school age. Like, my youngest was 4, almost 5. So he was already in preschool. My oldest was already in second grade. And I was like, I'm having a newborn. So I'm like, am I going to stay home another 2-3 years? And I was like, no, I think I've reached my peak already. So then I told my husband, I was like, I want to get back in real estate. I just don't know in what aspect, but I'm going to get back in real estate. And he goes, well, why don't you become a realtor? And I, like I said, had a background in mortgage lending, so I came across a lot of realtors, and I'm not a big fan. I wasn't a big fan. I don't like salesy people.
Yeah, I get you.
So that idea, I was kind of like, no.
Okay.
And I kind of brushed it off for a year or two, and then I was like, you know what? There's been this one broker that I've really always eyed. Like, I always like, I don't know. That seems like a nice place to work at. And it was the culture, and it was like completely what I was looking for. You know, it was. I was like, I can be a realtor and not be salesy. Like,
okay, it's so funny that you bring that up because I think again, another inspirational Loni moment right there. Because I think what you're doing is you're literally, I mean, people say that all the time, you know, we're all forging our own path, but you literally are. Like, you're saying, like, even though I may follow this path, I'm going to do it on my terms. Yeah. And I think that's so awesome.
Yes. Like, you just have to find, you know, like, the people that are, you know, people talk about, like, aligning with the, it really does matter. Yeah. It really does matter. So that's when I felt comfortable. I was like, all right, there is brokers out there that are not salesy. So I kind of did my homework and all that. And then I went for it. I was like, I'm going to get licensed and I'm going to do it. And yes, the flexibility was a plus, that I can still technically, you know, have my own schedule that align with the kids and didn't interfere and none of that. So it's perfect. So then my little one, he was one when he came along, and he went to meetings with me. He went to showings. I mean,
he's a realtor now.
He's a realtor now. He's a little retired because now he's in first grade. He has other ones.
Yeah, he's got priorities.
But he knows. I mean,
that's so
people
funny.
that follow me and that kind of have my friends, they all know. Like, they see he brought him around. So yeah, and I just fell back into something. It was so comfortable. It was like knowing, having a background in that, it just made it so much easier and more natural for me to be a realtor. So that's how that happened.
Okay. So you're meeting all these women. You're a realtor now, and you're like.
And even though I know a lot of people in the business, that doesn't equate to business for me. Like, I know a lot of people in the industry, but it doesn't mean that business is going to come to me. So I found myself starting all over, having to build a real estate business from scratch.
Okay.
I have a handful of contacts, and I still have a lot of people in the industry, but I was kind of like, okay, well, how is that going to turn into business? If you might be familiar, a lot of realtors, what they do is it's called farming. So it's like all that junk mail that you get in the.
Oh yeah, I do know that.
Well, it costs a lot of money to do that. So I was like, the idea of throwing money in the trash just wasn't sitting well with me. I was like, whenever I get the stuff, I'm just like, trash.
It's trash. Yeah.
So I was like, why am I going to do that? So then I kind of calculated, okay, this is how much money I'm going to budget for marketing a year, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put on social events. So yeah, and then door knocking is and I'm not saying that these methods are bad. It's just not me, and it's not. And I knew, I tried them here and there, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try them just to say it. I gave it a try, and I was like, no, definitely not. Not gonna work.
And it's also gonna attract a certain kind of people. So I'm sure you want to work with certain kind of people.
Yes.
You want to help certain kind of people.
Yes.
No?
From day one, I never wanted to be a transactional realtor. I wanted to be like more relational and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So that was that. I was like, I'm going to, and then again, I'm a mom. So how I utilize my time, I have to be very strategic and smart about it. So I was like, okay, if I start hosting social events, I'm bringing together community, I'm bringing together women in business. I know that there's going to be business for everybody. And I know that there's going to be real good connections. And the only thing that can happen is that everyone gets business at some point, or something good's going to happen. So I figured I'm going to invest that money and I'm going to put on social events instead.
I don't know.
And it's all women.
It's all women. I mean, not
for
to
the
toot
most
our
part.
horn, but
Yeah, it's all. And I feel like when you put women in one room,
seriously,
there's just so many.
there's such a
You never know.
You never know. It's incredible.
Yeah. So
and it's just growing and growing, and then you said that they were the seed to Casa Bloom.
Yeah.
When you talk about
so the women in business I had met, and then my personal friends.
Okay.
Their support. I mean,
of course, that is
when
your
you have a good circle, it just empowers you more to do whatever. So they've always been so supportive. So they're the ones that inspired Amigas Social Club. So my personal friends, and then all those women in business. Which you would think, okay, what does party people, like the party planners or any of that have to do with real estate? A lot. When a closing happens, I have to gift things to my clients or housewarming parties and then usually you need a catering person, a cookie person, gifts, and like it's
all connected.
Yep.
It's all connected.
I needed people for business. Hopefully one day when they think of buying or selling, they think of me, and then that's it. And it's happened already. So.
There you go. So you know you're a smart girl. Now, okay, there's going to be moments in our business and life where things don't go the way we want them to, as they say. You know?
Yes. Yes.
So I really think people underestimate, and that's where I'm like, oh, I really want you to hear what you think about this. Is like, I think, yes, like of course having a supportive partner is obviously is foundational, but there's just something about your friends. They just come in. Don't you think that they swoop in a way that's like unlike anything, like community?
Oh my gosh.
What do you think about that?
I've had friends. I have lifelong friends, and I have friends that I have recent, but that I already know they're going to be in my life forever. I feel like when women empowerment is thrown left and right now, and a lot of people don't truly practice it or have been, you can just tell sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel, I've said it before, I'm like, I feel women empowerment starts at home. Like at home, with my sisters, with my sister-in-law, with my daughter. Like it starts at home.
I love that. Yes, it does start at home.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to do it for your
family.
family.
If you're not supporting the women in your family, it's kind of like, how did you all of a sudden?
That's so true.
And I've seen that. And I'm just like, those are the people that I'm just like, all of a sudden. But I feel it starts at home. And if it starts in your community. And then you can then truly be like, okay, this is women empowerment. This is what I'm about and stuff like that.
I love that.
Yeah, so my friends, I've been very blessed, very fortunate to have lifelong friends. And I know I can count on them all the time for anything. And same with me. I mean, I'm there for them, but I'm very, very blessed in that aspect. So.
Love it. Now, as another, a really important reason why I think I want people to learn more about Loni and your experiences, there's a lot of people in Amigas Social Club, a lot of people in the community who are starting new businesses. Yours truly, as you know, I
Me
started.
too. I mean, Casa Bloom is a new business, so I'm with you guys.
Guess, yeah. Like, what advice do you have? Because definitely I think one thing I really want to I try to be very transparent on my channel about like mental health and, it's not always, smiles, like there's hard moments, there's tough times, and you just pick yourself back up and some days it's task by task, some days are just day by day, and you just, don't look too far because then you get overwhelmed. So I guess, do you have any tips for anybody out there who's kind of having, as a new business owner, some hard days, like, what do you
Well, no, it's hard. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think perspective is what drives a lot of people. A lot of people just see the end result, but like I told you earlier, just chatting, nobody sees like the 5-10 years that it took to get here to now. And even right now, like I feel like I'm still at the beginning stages. Like my real estate, I've only been a realtor for 5 years.
Only?
Yes, but it's like
that's
when I first started, I would be like, oh my god, I would hear about like referrals, and I was like,
you're like,
one day, and now I'm that. But it took those many years. It took that many transactions. Amigas Social Club 2 is going to be turning 4 in May. And what started with just an idea has evolved very organically, thankfully, and I have new plans for that. We want to make sure that we're really listening to the community and what it needs. So there's a lot of things that are still in the beginning. I feel like we're still at the beginning stages. And then Casa Bloom. I mean, Casa Bloom just turned 1.
Yeah,
it did. So I'm still a new business owner.
Still a
myself.
baby. I mean, I guess in a way, it helps build that perspective.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to your first question of like tips. I think you need to decide what success means for you, because what I define as success might be completely different from what you think success is, and that's okay. So you need to have a clear understanding of what success means to you.
Okay.
Because I can be looking at something and be like, oh my god, they're so successful, and they can be like way off from what they think, or vice versa. I can be trying to be doing something that somebody else is doing, but at the same time, so define what success means to you.
That's so very true.
And then plan long term. I like the idea of planning, like retroactively planning. Kind of like what is the life goal, the end goal, the blah blah blah. Then having a 5-year plan, and then that kind of sets me where, okay, if I want to be there in 5 years, what do I need to be doing this year?
Dude, you were like, I'm like, how does it, like, where does this come from? Like, you just, I don't know, it's like, it's not every day that you meet people who are like taking chances, who are like betting on themselves. And that's what you've been doing. And it's gotten here, like, what has helped cultivate that spirit in you?
I think when I became a mom. Because when I became a mom...
She just wants me to really have kids. That's we had a conversation earlier. I think that's what's going on here. I'm just kidding.
No, when I became a mom, because when you become a mom, you're like, you don't have a choice. You have to figure it out. There's a difference. When it's just you...
Yeah. There's not much pressure.
Yeah, I mean, there's still pressure, but it's not like shit. Like, these kids depend. Like, their life literally depends. You just figure it out.
Okay. So when you became a mom, it was like another level.
It was another level.
Yeah.
I mean, even before. I think a little bit before too. It was kind of like when the recession happened. Like my industry was the first one to get hit super hard. So that was a huge eye opener. But then I had my first baby, and it was, I don't know. I just developed this mentality of like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm just gonna do it. Like, we'll figure it out. And then again, yes, having a supportive husband, partner.
Yeah.
But I think I've always had that mentality though. Like, I always had that, like, I want that, or I want to do that. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna get there, but you just, I'm gonna do it. I'll figure it out.
Amazing. And I know there's people out there there's different kinds of people, right? Because there's people who see it, and I've met people who are like, they're thinking a lot, like, what's the right move, like, and just thinking like, what do I want to do? And I remember somebody told me back in the day, in my 20s, and I remember I was like that. I was like, thinking a lot, and then she just looked at me and she's just like, Jackie, just make stuff. Just do it. Just go for it. Like, you're thinking too much. Like,
there's never going to be a perfect time.
Yeah.
There isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, those years. And I say when I became a mom also because those years that I was a stay-home mom, for those of you that are stay-home moms and are one-income household, I mean, luckily now, stay-at-home moms can make money off of anything nowadays, but back then, not so much. So, you know, having to be a one-income household was difficult, but I had to learn how to budget, but then that's when like I said, all these ideas come and you're like, oh, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I have these ideas. Once it became attainable, it was like, okay, well, obviously you do need to prepare at some point. Like, to become a realtor, I had to prepare like the classes and put aside a certain budget. And so there is preparation. Obviously you have to do like some planning of some kind. Our family dynamic, obviously I was going to be gone on weekends now. They're used to having me on the weekends. So there was a lot of that. It was a team family effort.
I like that you're saying that because I think a lot of moms think, what am I not get, like if I'm not going to be around those weekends? But I love that there's this like united front and this support for you as a mom. Like your family's rallying for you.
Yes, they were. They actually,
So I'm just like putting it out there for any moms out there who are like, but then this, but it's like, it's a team effort. It's like, you know, supporting your dreams and your efforts.
Yeah, you have to assess like your family dynamic and then kind of plan. Yeah. But definitely don't, it's not all going to be perfect and then it's going to just happen.
There's no
perfect time.
There's no perfect time.
Just got to do it.
So it's Women's Month, right? So I've gone to quite a few events and this topic keeps on coming up and I'm just like, I'm going to ask Loni this because I'm just like.
What is it?
It's they call it the I word.
The I word?
Imposter syndrome.
Oh gosh.
So let's do it. You want to answer it?
What about it? What's your question?
Have you ever experienced it yourself?
Yes.
And how do you manage it?
Well, I think I've experienced it to some level. And I think it's always at the beginning. It's always when you have an idea and you're the first one to talk yourself out of it. You're always like, that's crazy.
Yeah. But I don't know, but this.
It's a back and forth. So that's usually when I find myself feeling that. Okay. Is whenever I have an idea, I'm all like, and then I have to just snap out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll figure it out.
How do you snap yourself out of it?
I say what I've been saying to myself for years, like, I can do it. Like, I'll figure it out. Like,
you'll figure it out. I like that. You'll figure it out.
You have to speak up, though. You have to, like, obviously, with Amigas, with a team, we'll be like, I have this crazy idea. Like, it always starts like, I have this crazy idea. Or with work, too, I have this crazy idea. And it's when you talk to other people that then they kind of give you, like, feedback. And then they can either be like, well, did you think about this? And most of the time, I'm like, no, I didn't think about that. But cool.
And that's why community is so important.
Yep.
And I think like a lot of us like we're afraid like of other people, but it's like we have to lean on others. And I think if you lean into that without fear, like you'll realize like people out there want to help you. Like yours truly, Loni. I don't know if I said it earlier, but like thanks to Loni, like Anna and I, we had been our crazy idea, right? We opened up this our higher areas last year and. Reached out to Loni and Lonnie's like, hey, do you want to host a marketing workshop for Amigas Social Club? And I was like, we're like, okay, like now she's put us a safe space for us to like, talk about our business and educate people and it was a success and we felt so empowered and that if we had not reached out to you and not been afraid in our own little siloed space, like we would never have that opportunity and you gave us that. Oh. So you're like the example of that.
Oh, thank you.
So
you just gotta speak up. You'll be surprised how many people actually want to help. Obviously, don't go telling the world everything because not everyone's going to have good intentions.
No,
not everyone's going to want to help. But I feel like once you find either a space or a group of people, like speak up, like be like, hey, like I'm thinking about this. Like, what do you think? And then I'm telling you, like everybody knows everybody. Like somehow, like don't underestimate anyone in your community because they can be that one contact that gets you to somebody else. Right. Regardless of the industry they're in, regardless of the background, regardless of anything. That's one thing I've learned.
I love that.
There's a lot of talent and a lot of resources in our community. We just don't know about it.
Yeah. Mental health. Mm-hmm. So the mental health thing. So you grew up in a Mexican household, right?
Yes.
So talking about your feelings how was that? Were your parents pretty open about like?
I have.
I don't know what to expect here. Maybe you'll surprise me, but what?
I have. My mom was very strict. My mom's very serious, very strict. Her language, I guess her love language would be cooking. Like that's her love language.
We like that.
Yes, I love it. Oh my god, I appreciate it so much more now. Now I'm like, can you cook us? It saves me having to cook a day. But it was balanced out by my dad. My dad was always like, you know, like I love you and the hugger and the, you know. So it was
awesome.
It was like a
good balance.
It was a good balance. Like I didn't now that I'm an adult, I'm like, man, my mom didn't really ever like tell you that and say I love you. But since my dad overcompensated.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, in that sense, it was
okay.
fine. Like
that's wonderful to hear. Okay. So because I feel like a lot of the times, especially with Latinos, like if we talk, like in my household, it was like very like I like to say I was very in tune with my emotions, and my parents were just kind of like, I don't think they knew what to do, you know? So my mom would just be like, are you okay, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. And she'd be like, well, just be happy, you know? And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do with that.
they're like, you have everything.
Right? I'm like,
I know, it was very like, well, there's food on the table and you have a roof over your head.
right. So it's like, for me, therapy has been such a crucial part to my well-being, to my self-development, and how has mental health been for you as a business owner? Because there's a whole other layer of being a business owner to multiple businesses.
Yeah.
Like, how has mental health played a role? Like, how do you take care of yourself? Like, how does that go for you?
Well, I think I'm thinking now, like, okay, starting from home, like my husband, like he's like my, you know, I go to him for everything. Like we communicate like on a daily basis, like I express like everything. Like he knows about everything. So home life is that, like having that open communication, having somebody who just like dump everything and kind of help you assess it. And then community-wise, Amigas, I mean, has been my mental health. You know,
it's
resource.
That is like a true. People, I'm telling you, like that is a true mental health like tool. Legit, like people are like, oh, your girlfriend's like, no. There's like another.
Yeah, that in itself is like community.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriends will come to some workshop. It's like everything. Not everybody goes to all of the workshops or events because some events call more towards other people than, you know. So that's why we cater to everybody as a whole, because everybody needs a little bit of something different at times. So to me, that's been my mental, the way I take care of myself too, through like our wellness stuff and just having community to rely on. And then business wise, surrounding myself with other women in business too that I have been fortunate to come around and have friendships with, and it's kind of relying on that, like, hey, I'm going through this, like, what did you do when, you know, whatever. So that's kind of how I do that.
I like those. Okay.
So I rely on community and friends and family.
Okay, so a few weeks back, you and I had coffee, and I just got married, and I was telling Loni that Anna and I are kind of in that place where we're like, do we have kids? Do we not have kids? And so I'm doing a lot of like research on the ground, asking moms like, do we do it? Do we not do it? So here's your moment, Loni. Do we do it or not? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's a personal choice, obviously.
Obviously.
And again, you have to go back and check your family dynamics and all that good stuff. See if it's something you both want. But I say, again, like everything, don't wait. And like everything's not going to be perfect. You're not going to have it all figured out.
Yeah.
By the time that's done, I mean, you'll probably be over it. Like, never mind, I don't want kids. But if you're waiting to have like everything in line for kids, it's just, yeah. Okay. If you're thinking about it and if you are leaning more towards it, I would say the sooner the better.
I know.
The sooner the better.
I know. And it's funny, you talked about like being a perfectionist. I feel like I am a perfectionist to some extent, and I think part of my fear is like, will I not be the best mom? Like, I do have like inherent fear.
No, I don't think any of us are the best moms. Like, it's a struggle.
Like, not possible.
You know, my kids range from 14 to newborn. I mean, yeah, no one's a perfect mom, but.
I mean, I do have a lot of love. I feel like I could really love the kid.
I'm sure you will. Love the kid.
I could love this kid.
Yeah.
Because I do hear a lot of moms, like, I hear both sides, right? I hear moms who are like, literally have told me, like, don't do it. Because they're just like, it's a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's not like I'm
not
having
a
like
walk
a
in the
dog
park.
or,
No.
or babysitting.
It's gonna be life changing.
Life changing.
It's gonna be hard. I think motherhood is one of the hardest,
Oh yeah.
yet most beautiful,
Things.
crazy thing you'll ever do.
I've always thought, and correct me if, in your experience, right? Like I've always thought like becoming a mom would make me like much more like humble and selfless.
I don't like the word humble.
Humble, like
I like modest.
oh modest.
No, humble. It means you think less of yourself.
Oh, sí, ¿te acuerdas? Oh, ni te acuerdo.
We throw that
Sí,
word
this
around all the
perspective.
time. I hate it.
Oh, the humble.
In our
Okay, that's
culture,
so-
be humble. And it's like
Okay, so that's so interesting that you say that. Sorry, now we're gonna segue slightly about this word humble. 'Cause
we're
it's
talking about
fascinating.
kids, and they're like, ah!
No. Because
My
you
brain
know,
works.
like for example, like me being gay,
Mhm.
I've always used that word, but so now I'm like curious what you think about that. So I've said that like knowing who I am as a gay person has really humbled me, and I think I use that word because I grew up in a home where I mean, I'm not trying to paint my parents as like terrible people, but it's just in their generation they didn't see homosexuality, right? Like so to them it was very foreign, and they had been told religious things, and so I grew up in a home that was like slightly homophobic, right? And would kind of like other these gay people, because they're gay,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like- so then when I realized that I was gay, it really, that's why I use the word humble. I can't think of another word, but I feel like it would humble me because it made me realize like we are not above anyone. Like I guess that's, I don't, you get what I'm saying? Like well, maybe I'm not. I'm
No,
not saying-
no. And you might have been using it in the correct format, because humble, to me at least, the definition of it is that to think less of, and maybe you were thinking less of yourself at that moment because of the environment you're in. But I feel like in our culture, it's kind of just like you need to be humble. But what is humble? Like humble is like less than like the watering yourself down. Like I can't, like I have to you can't enjoy your successes. You can't speak about financials. You can't tell people how you got somewhere, because then it's like, oh, estás presumiendo, or no se habla de dinero. Well, that's why we're all stuck. I think modest is a better form. Like, not to think more of yourself than other people is being modest, but being humble is like, now I'm shrinking myself. I'm not gonna shrink myself. Like I'm gonna and I feel like if we all as a community knew the difference, we would actually learn more from each other. Because I know so many people that have been and they're successful business owners, but they've always been like with their head down, just working, not sharing how they got places, not sharing how they did things, just figuring it out. And I feel like it's gatekeeping but not intentionally.
But not intentionally, yeah.
It's because they're just being humble.
Right.
Right? Like they're being humble.
But if they were to be modest, now they
Yeah.
can be a little bit more open and they can inspire people.
Yeah,
Like oh wait, I didn't know that.
No, like
you could do
hey,
that.
like I did this like this. This is how I got here, and it's like
Well,
that's not you bragging. That's just
so funny.
Yeah.
That reminds me a lot about like LGBTQ. Like people are like, why are you gonna be so proud? I'm like, because like for me, I'm gonna be the first person in my family generation that lives an openly gay life.
Yeah.
So I'm not boasting about it. I'm saying like, hey, if your kids, like my nieces and nephews, like if they're part of the community, I want to show them that like that it's okay, that you can live this life.
You're being modest, and it's like you're gay. Like that's fine. You're just showing them that you're still human. Like you're still gonna
no difference. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I
Don't be
like
humble.
that. Okay.
Don't be humble.
Ooh.
Don't be humble.
Don't be
people.
humble. Be modest. I like
Be
that.
modest.
Ooh. Okay.
Be modest.
Okay, Loni.
And share how you got where you are. Share it as you're learning
I love that.
things.
As I'm getting older, I'm like,
As
like
we are
as
getting
we are getting older,
Uh-huh.
like, like the other day I went to a youth event and I remember I was like, I'm gonna talk to the youth. And, and sometimes I'm scared of them because I'm like, oh, am I dorky? Like, am I, self-conscious because they're, I think young people are so cool, But I was like, you know what? If they want help, I'm here, because I remember when I was growing up and when I was having like coffee meetings with people in industries to learn more, like, I remember I'm like, these people have lives and they're taking time out of their day to talk to some young person who doesn't know what the heck they're doing.
No, mentors are so important.
Yeah,
I have my mentor for real estate, like, and oh my gosh, like, it's so important. It's so important to have people that have already gone through things and can kind of guide you and give you, you know, perspective, give you, you know, help you.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it you have to give and receive? That always reminds me. Do you watch Friends?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Joey was making a speech for Monica. He's like, you have to give and receive, and then you have to give and receive.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to give and receive. Like that's how it goes. Like, yeah. Okay. So I don't know if I'm gonna have kids still, but I appreciate your perspective.
Okay.
It's enlightening and it's refreshing. You know.
The sooner the better.
Well,
the sooner the better.
I know, girl. All right, so I'm gonna go now. Actually, I'm gonna call Anna up right now.
Like we're having a kid.
No. Well, thank you for taking your time today because I know you're nearing
the new arrival.
You're the new arrival.
Oh my God, I still don't have anything ready.
No, thank you for your time, for your mentorship.
Oh.
And you know, I hope that people check out her Amigas Social Club, which is amazing here in Orange County. And Casa Bloom Studios.
Yes. And if you are thinking of buying or selling or just have questions, feel free to reach out also for real estate. We have a workshop coming up tomorrow.
Oh, you might. This one.
Yeah, it's not going to be, but
she did have one.
Yeah, I'm going to have one.
You'll probably have more, right?
Yeah, we're going to have more.
Okay.
So reach out. Even if it's just questions, I'm always happy to refer people out if it's, you know, out of the area, or if you have questions in regards to anything, whether it's lending or title or whatever it may be.
Okay. So one last final very serious question, Loni. Donas or tortas? What are you gonna eat?
Oh my god.
What sounds more savory or sweet?
I'm not a sweet tooth person, but I think right now donuts.
Oh really?
I've never been liked tortas that much, but this, sorry.
I'm like, what? I'm out of here.
Yeah. But as of recent, maybe the pregnancy, I've actually been into the tortas de jamón from Cancun Juice.
Love them. That's my favorite.
Yeah, so I've been having those. But right now, donuts.
See Cancun Juice? We got another jamón y queso
Yes.
fan. I'm always afraid to tell people that because they're like, oh, it's so like, I'm like, what? Sometimes you just need a good sandwich with jamón y queso.
Yeah, and they're very homemade.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh yeah.
But donuts for now.
Okay. Very cool. Well, we'll see you on the other side with your baby.
Yes, my little amiga. We have a little amiga coming.
Oh my god. I just got that.
The newest member.
Oh.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And that's it. It's a wrap.
That's a wrap. There you go.